Welcome to Coffee Break with Rachel V. Hill, taking a daily look at the biggest stories in Denver sports and interacting live with you, the Coffee Break fam. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of joe, and enjoy your coffee break. Here's your host, Rachel V. Hill.
We are one day closer to game days. The Denver Broncos will host the Pittsburgh Steelers, the game that everybody had circled on the calendar. We were like, yes, this is going to be such a great game. Russell Wilson's going to return to the Mile High City to go against Sean Payton and see who was the real winner between the divorce between the quarterback and the head coach. But unfortunately, Russell Wilson's still dealing with a calf injury, and it seems like Justin Fields is going to be the starter come Sunday here in the Mile High City. Now, I had this game circled as the Broncos' first win on the season. Don't hate me, Broncos country. I know we wanted them to get off on a hot start and beat Seattle, but I just didn't see it happening. I think Seattle is a playoff team. I think they're a wild card team. I truthfully believe in Geno Smith and that he's finally finding his rhythm, and he's going to be able to help this team win. We obviously saw Geno be able to move the ball a little bit, but it was the defensive side of things that really made it difficult for Bo Nix and the Broncos offense to get going. And unfortunately, even though I had the Broncos beating the Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't know if I feel that exact same way anymore. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense, while Mike Tomlin's defenses are always good, this team's next level. This seems like they're going to carry this team into the playoffs yet again. And it seems like that's the story every single time when it comes to the Steelers. It's the defense who carries them. The offense continues to struggle every single time. But at the exact same time, what did we say? What did we say in Super Bowl 50? Defense wins championships. That's for sure. So I got 3 keys to the game. Some of them might seem a little obvious, like the ones everybody's going to be talking about. We'll get to those ones early, and then we'll get down to a few other ones that we got. But let's just start off with saying that the Broncos blitzed on 50% of Geno Smith's dropbacks on Sunday. So they should apply that exact same pressure to Justin Fields. That's a good way to be able to get in Justin Fields' heads. And to be honest, when the Broncos did apply pressure, I rewatched the game in slow motion. Alex Singleton was this close on a few plays to really making it a nightmare for Geno Smith. Same with DJ Jones. There's a possibility of these guys being able to do that. It's going around the opposite side of one of the defenders. Otherwise, it's a beautiful sack. It is putting pressure. It's forcing them to run. Now, here's the other thing, though. And this is my number one key to the game. Usually we talk about how teams are always going to run the ball. Stick to the run. Go with the run. Boom, 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 boom. My key to the game is actually going to be prepared for the passing game. So Fields went 17 of 23 for 156 passing yards, along with 57 rushing yards. So we know he's got the movement. And to be honest, he seems to go off script quite a lot. So if the Broncos can apply that pressure, that's great. Get him to go a little bit off script. Who knows what can happen? Justin Fields is still Justin Fields at the end of the day. But he had no touchdowns. Okay, so Justin Fields, you haven't gotten that much better from your Chicago Bears, but he also had no turnovers, so he played a clean game. Now, the Steelers line is 28th in the league in run blocking. So stopping the run also means stopping Justin Fields. Now, that's good news for the Broncos defense. They are not good at being able to help their run game. Broncos have to apply pressure. If they can do that, then good things can happen. You never know what you can force Justin Fields to do. And if they get behind early, well, then Justin's having to throw a lot more, and we'll get into that. But overall, that's not a bad thing. 28th in the league in run blocking. I would say be ready for the passing game. Now, one of the unfortunate parts for the Broncos is Dan Moore was graded as the 3rd best pass blocking tackle in the NFL for week 1. Now you might say, well, you're right. Then they're definitely going to go for some more play action type stuff. We're going to see Justin Fields throw the ball a little bit more. Now, the only good news is, and we never root for injuries, I'm not saying that at all, but Dan Moore is dealing with an ankle injury. So that's a little bit of good news if you're a Denver Broncos fan, is the guy that everyone's talking about on the offensive line, well, unfortunately, he's dealing with an injury as well. So that is a little bit of good news right there. They're bad at the run blocking, and then the guy who's top-notch on your offensive line, who's really good for pass blocking, well, he's dealing with a bit of an ankle injury. But the Broncos are also dealing with some injuries. I promise we will get into that here in just a second. Now, who's the stud? And you're probably pretty happy if you have this guy on your fantasy team. Not that he's like a Christian McCaffrey type number guy or a Tyreek Hill. We'll just stick with that since it's a wide receivers. but he can get you some points, and he seems to be the favorite target for Justin Fields. It's George Pickens. Now, essentially, he's come out and been who everybody thinks he was going to be. He's a solid wide receiver, number one. He's able to come down with the ball. He had 6 catches for 85 yards against the Falcons on Sunday. But the main point I'm going to make is, yes, we've all heard of the name George Pickens. Who the heck is their number 2 guy? Which is great news if you are Riley Moss, because Pat Surtain, I'm going to assume, I just never know exactly what VJ is going to do with the offense, but I'm going to assume, because they don't really have a number 2 guy, that Patrick Surtain is going to follow George Pickens all the way around the field, which is great. Great news. That means for Riley Moss, who had a solid game on Sunday, I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, Tyler Lockett had some insane catches, but Riley Moss played a really solid game. We actually talked to him in the locker room on Wednesday. He's feeling comfortable. He's feeling good. And I appreciate that out of him. But he was still pissed off on some of the catches that Tyler Lockett made, which they were insane catches. They weren't easy catches that Tyler Lockett or that Riley Moss just let him get. They were hard. He had done a great job of defending him. Unfortunately, they still just got past. But overall, for Riley Moss, this is great news. You're able to win these battles against guys that really nobody even knows, because it's all about George Pickens in Pittsburgh. So I love this for him. I think it's going to be great. And then here's the other thing, too, that I do find to be a little interesting is there's always trash talk that happens around the NFL, right? It just is there. And I love a little extra fire. Put a little fuel on the fire, why don't you? And George Pickens on Wednesday was asked by the media about Patrick Surtain, and he said he played against Patrick Surtain in college, so he kind of already knows what to expect. But he quote unquote says, just hope they have their plan correct. I don't really know or care what they're going to do. So it sounds to me like he's ready to ball out. Well, lucky for him, he gets to go up against one of the top, if not the top cornerback in the league, in Patrick Surtain. So I'm excited to watch this battle. Again, I always love when a guy's a little extra cocky, and I'm like, okay, well, let's see how you actually do against the number 1 guy. Again, not trying to hate on George Pickens. I'm sure he's great, but he's not a Tyreek Hill. He's not Devontae Adams. Let's see how you actually do against Patrick Surtain. So I hope Patrick Surtain hears that little bit of extra fire and is extra ready to go on Sunday. I'm pumped for it to be in the Mile High City. I'm so excited to actually get to go to the game and watch it up close and personal and feel the crowd. Even though we are in the press box, we don't get quite the ambiance like you do if you're outside on the field, but it's still, you can just tell when the energy is intense, and it's so much fun to be there. One of the other things real quick, just before we get into key number 2 for me, is that Audric Estime has gone on injured reserve, dealing with an ankle injury. We were actually in the locker room on Wednesday, and people were getting ready to talk to him, and all of a sudden PR was like, nope, sorry, can't talk to him. No reason why. And then, of course, the news comes out that he's dealing with the IR injury. So unfortunate. I think Audric Estime, while he didn't have a spectacular game on Sunday, I think he definitely adds a little bit of something. But now I'm going to be curious. Is Javonte Williams actually in the doghouse? Is he really going to be in the doghouse, or are they going to roll it Javonte Jaleel, or are we going to bring somebody else in? So I'll be very interested to see what they end up doing. Now, my key number 2, this one's going to be really, really easy, but I'm going to tell you why it's going to be a little bit harder this week, and it is to handle the pressure. Now, you might be like, Rachel, of course they have to do that. They couldn't handle it against the Seahawks. That seems so easy. And I'm with you, but Bo Nix saw the most pressure out of any quarterback in week 1, and it breaks my heart a little bit because he was running for his life. And we all thought that the offensive line was going to be a little bit better, and we were so excited about it. And we were like, yeah, here we go. It's going to be their year. They have this chemistry all built up. Everything's going to be good. Well, unfortunately, their offensive line is also dealing with 2 injuries, and this one hurts a little bit. Garrett Bowles is dealing with a calf injury, and then also center Luke Wattenberg dealing with a ankle injury as well. So that one hurts for sure, because you have 2 guys now who are dealing with these injuries, and being on the offensive line, really any position in football, it's really hard when you have to deal with anything with your legs, but especially the offensive line, because you are digging your heels in deep trying to protect your quarterback. So that's a little bit unfortunate. They did not handle the pressure well, obviously, at all on Sunday. So that's bad news, because you have TJ Watt and Cam Hayward and all of those guys, 2 household names right there that are going to be coming for Bo Nix. So a little nervous about that. Let's see also if Sean Payton switches up the play calling a little bit for Bo Nix. We were seeing quick, speedy passes, and I mean quick. Get it out 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Just hope to get it out and be able to have some run and some coverage. Let's give Bo Nix just a little bit more time and see if we're able to extend the play a little bit, and hopefully he can get a little more comfortable. But again, having that offensive line, the pocket is going to shrink so fast on him, but he's just got to be able to withstand it for a little bit more. The other bad news about this is the Steelers are really, really deep on their defensive line, which is a massive bummer if you're Broncos country, because this means that they can rotate out guys on their D-line, which means you have guys who are coming in with fresh legs every single time, and that just makes it harder and harder and harder for this Broncos offensive line to really protect Bo Nix. So again, guys are less tired. They're able to make more plays on that D-line. Cam Hayward, like I mentioned, he's kind of leading the way too. So that one definitely hurts a little bit. The Broncos are going to have to be prepared for it. And with 2 guys on the offensive line dealing with injury, you're going to have to see a Quinn Miners, a Mike McGlinchey, and a Ben Powers really step up in this game to help out the other guys in that exact same way. Same with any of the other coverages. So whether we're seeing the tight end having to do coverage, whether it's a running back adding extra protection in there as well, you're going to have to see everybody else really, really step up and protect Bo Nix. It's just going to be brutal, you guys. Unfortunately, I wish I could sit here and be like, it's going to be great. Bo Nix is going to get a lot of pressures. It's going to be them having to capitalize on the 25 to 40% of the plays that they're not going to get too much pressure. And I say too much because they're still going to get some pressure, and they really got to be able to capitalize on it. So, it's going to be a really tough matchup. Let me know what you guys are thinking about the TJ Watt coming into the Mile High City. And is TJ Watt better than his brother JJ Watt? Has he earned that right yet, or does JJ still hold it because he did it for so long in the NFL? I'm really curious about that. So please let me know in the comments. All right, my last and final key to the game is, this seems obvious, but it's totally not, is that the receivers need to play to Bo. What I saw in week 1 was a lot of Bo making throws, but unfortunately, the wide receivers were just running their routes. They're going to have to be extra cautious and aware of what Bo is doing. Perfect example, and unfortunately, it ended up in an interception, but it was the pass where Bo Nix was going to Courtland Sutton in the end zone. And unfortunately, in my personal opinion too, I think he just didn't have enough arm strength to get it down there, because it looks like he throws it. It's a nice throw, and unfortunately, it's just not going to go that far. It goes right into the hands of the Seahawks defender. Courtland Sutton's going to have to be able to pay a close enough attention to be able to get back there. And I think that's going to be a really big key. Josh Reynolds, same. I think a lot of these guys, they're going to have to play to Bo Nix of where he's looking, what he's doing, and just kind of get used to that chemistry. Courtland Sutton and Bo Nix have not had great chemistry. I think that it's been Devon Vele and Josh Reynolds who have been, the top guys for him. It's time for Courtland Sutton to step up big, especially because he is facing Joey Porter Jr., which, if you're a Nuggets fan, you have no idea how hard it is for me to say Joey Porter Jr. and not Michael Porter Jr., because we're just so used to it. But Joey Porter Jr. is going to be on Courtland Sutton, which is going to be a really good matchup, actually. I'm kind of excited about it. A not elite cornerback, but one that's starting to make a name for himself, and going up against Courtland Sutton, who's obviously a guy who wins a lot of 50-50 balls. I think it's going to be a really good test. So I am excited to that. Now, on that exact same side of things is, who knows how many balls these wide receivers are actually going to see because of how much the pressure on Bo Nix is going to apply. And I feel like I'm just repeating myself over and over again, but it's really going to be all about stopping TJ Watt. You have to not let them create havoc on this offensive line and on Bo Nix. Like, you have to be able to protect him time and time again. So I'm a little nervous because we obviously saw multiple interceptions from Bo Nix. So this is why it's going to be really important to the wide receivers to play off of Bo. Otherwise, we could see some more interceptions as well. So my 3 keys to the game, let's roll through them one more time, is be prepared for the passing game. I do think we're going to see a little bit more. I also think that Justin Fields, despite not having any touchdowns, I think he was able to move the ball pretty dang well for the Steelers. So they're going to, let that leash out a little bit more, see what he's got, and roll with it. So be prepared for that passing game. Number 2, handle the pressure. It's going to come. You have a hurt offensive line. They're going to have to be good. It's time for Ben Powers, Mike McGlinchey, and blanking on my mind right now. I can't think of who it is. Luke Wattenberg's got an injury. Garrett Bowles has got an injury. Quinn Miners. There we go. I'm like, who the heck am I missing? They've got to step up. Quinn Miners also took a lot of the blame for what happened on Sunday against the Seahawks. So ultimately, it's going to be on those guys to really step up and help protect their quarterback. I'm going to be interested to see the different protection that Sean Payton comes up with for Bo Nix, hopefully allowing him to get a little bit more time. And then the final one is the receivers need to play to Bo. Again, you just got to be able to play to your quarterback, whether you have to backtrack or do something else, turn around. You got to just be able to be prepared in case the ball just isn't going to go that far, or it's going to be super speedy quick. And you just got to be able to, if he does any of those scramblings where he's going to just throw like 3 yards, you just got to be ready to catch it. So yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see what they work up, but those are my 3 keys to the game. Another note is Mike Tomlin, 25-6 against rookie QBs. You're like, oh, well, that's super unfortunate. Well, don't forget that stats like that had Sean Payton beating Mike Macdonald, right? Mike Macdonald's the Seahawks coach on Sunday, and that obviously did not happen as the Broncos sit at 0-1. I did Thursday, so you guys, I need all of your help in the comments, please and thank you. I have to do my picks. So we did our 3 keys to the game. Again, please let me know in the comments. I'm doing 10 observations every single Wednesday from the game before, and then I want to do my 3 keys to the game every single Thursday. Please let me know in the comments if you like them. It truthfully means the world to me. I read all of your comments, so I would just really, really appreciate it if you can do that as well. But let's do some picks, shall we? I need your guys' help because, again, if I don't do them on here with you guys, I probably will forget to do them just in general. So I appreciate your help with all of this. All right, so let's see. Also, I'm going to just take this off real quick. All right, we got our picks. We're ready. Let me go back to this real quick. All right. Thursday night, tonight, we got Miami versus Buffalo. I am rolling with Miami. Sunday morning, Baltimore over the Raiders. Yep. Chargers over Carolina. Okay. Is anybody else surprised by the Chargers? Not that I didn't think that Jim Harbaugh was going to make the Chargers a better team, but I feel like they looked like a lot more solid than I was expecting. So impressed. I don't want to say they're going to be number 2 in the AFC West because I'm still holding that for the Broncos, but definitely more impressed than I thought. Dallas versus the Saints. I'm going with Dallas. Tampa Bay versus Detroit. If this game was in Tampa Bay, you would bet all of your lucky pennies that I would 100% be taking Tampa Bay. I think that Baker has found his home. He is thriving down there in TB, but because it is in Detroit, I got to roll with the Lions. I think they're just too good at home. Green Bay over Indianapolis. Ooh, okay. Actually, that's easy. Easy. We're taking Indy. Malik Willis is the Green Bay quarterback, of course, because Jordan Love goes down with that MCL, not tear, but just injury. So we're going with Indy on this one. Jacksonville over Cleveland. Yep. Minnesota or San Francisco. Are we all impressed with how well San Francisco looked? Granted, Aaron Rodgers didn't have a super great day, but the fact that they didn't have Christian McCaffrey, I'm like, this is the Brock Purdy show. Like, what the heck? So I kind of want to take Minnesota, but I know that would be a stupid choice, so I will roll with San Francisco. New England, this is where I need your guys' help. New England or Seattle. Nobody expected New England to go in and beat the Bengals like they did. They looked really good, but Seattle also looking mighty fine over there, obviously coming off the win over the Broncos. So we're going to come back to that one. You guys let me know in the comments, and we will decide on that one together. The Jets over Tennessee. We're also going to decide that one. You guys let me know in the comments. Jets or Tennessee. The Washington Commanders or the New York Giants. I am going to go with the home team on that one. The Rams or Arizona. We're going to go with the Rams. I feel like I am just going very much with the population. Pittsburgh over Denver. Oh, you guys, I don't know what to do. We'll come back to that one at the very end. Kansas City, of course. Houston over Chicago, of course. Atlanta or Philadelphia. Philadelphia. We're going to go with a score of 34-16. I like that one. Okay. What are you guys saying in the comments? Let me know. We are picking for I totally lost it too now. Tennessee or New England. Tennessee or I can't talk. Seattle or New England, or the Jets or the Titans. Which one are you guys all saying? Thank you guys so much for helping me do my picks. Like I said, if you didn't do them with me, I would totally forget. I'm so bad at them. So I love this tradition of every Thursday we sit down and we do all of our picks. So let's do. Seems like a lot of people. I'm actually like really impressed that so many people are saying Tennessee. Okay, we'll go with Tennessee. We'll go with the home team. And then it seems like a majority of people are saying Seattle. I'm waiting to see. There's only been like a few. Let's do Seattle over New England. And then the worst one that we have to pick, it's Pittsburgh over the Broncos. You guys don't hate me, but I feel like I gotta go with it. Oh, I so badly hope that the Broncos can win. I do have a little bit of a gut feeling in my stomach right now that they somehow pull it off. Protection looks a little bit better, but TJ Watt looked just too damn good last Sunday that I think there's going to be so much pressure. I hope I'm very, very, very wrong, but we are going to save those week 2 picks. So you guys, thank you so much for doing that with me. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me every single day, letting me talk football with all of you. It has been so much fun as well. I appreciate every single one of your comments. It really does mean the absolute world to me. So happy we were able to do this. I'm glad so many of you guys told me, yes, you love the 10 observations from the game that I did on Wednesday. So again, thank you so much for all of the love on that. And please let me know if you like the 3 keys to the game that we are doing here every Thursday. Again, it just helps me know what type of content you guys all want to see out of us, and just makes it a little bit easier for me to know how to game plan my week as well. So I appreciate you all so very much. We will see you in the next one. Bye.